2013, an 8-year-old boy shot his grandmother in the back of the head. In 1998, an 11-year-old boy and a 13-year-old boy shot or murdered 4 students and a teacher. In 1999, the Columbine High School massacre was carried out by a 17-year-old boy and an 18-year-old boy. One thing in common in these cases were that the acts of violence were carried out by young children who enjoyed playing violent video games. As such, many people blame violent video games for causing these acts of violence, and governments have even created rating systems to prevent young children from accessing violent video games in order to prevent such situations from happening again. But are violent video games really to be blamed? Researchers have been trying to answer these questions, but the results have so far been non-conclusive. Today, we shall explore this topic and go through some of the well-known studies on this topic in an attempt to answer this once and for all. Does violent video games really promote aggression in young children? Let's take a look at the case where the young boy shot his grandmother in the head. Today, I have a child psychologist with me, Christopher, to discuss with me the details of this dreadful event.
Hello, I'm honored to be here. For this case, I believe that the biggest contributing factor would be the violent video game that the boy was playing beforehand.
How does the game cause the boy to carry out such violent acts?
The game that he was playing involved shooting people a lot. In a behavior theory point of view, we call this practicing. So, by playing the game, he was practicing how to shoot other people. At the same time, it also rewarded him for committing violent acts towards others. This will desensitize him towards violence, thus making him think that violent acts are normal.
So you're saying that violent video games will create aggression and violence for people playing it?
Yes, the violent video games promote aggression and violence by rewarding the violent acts committed by the player. Thus, it is really important to prevent young children from playing such violent video games, as they are the most likely to learn all these violent behaviors.
Okay, so that is clear to us now. Thank you for your time here.
The Columbine school shooting, which occurred on 20th April 1999 in Colorado, was shocking. But in addition to the shootings, it was a complex and highly planned attack, which involved fire bombs to divert firefighters and propane tanks converted to bombs placed in cafeteria, and even 99 explosive devices. The perpetrators of the crime, Eric Harris and Yilin, they had murdered 12 people and 1 teacher, and they had injured 21 people, and 3 people were also injured while escaping from the school. Police found Eric Harris and Yilin committing suicide.
We have with us clinical psychologist and FBI agent, Dr. Yuan. Doctor, will you care to tell us more about the shooting in Columbia High School?
Yes, sure. The rampage lasted for about 49 minutes. There were a total of 15 bodies, 11 males, and 4 females.
What can you tell us about the behavior or character of the culprits of this attack?
Sure. They suffered serious psychological problems. Yilin often ranted about his alleged superiority, but often in his private journals, we found that there were many instances of self-loathing. On the other hand, Eric, underneath his placid exterior, had a tremendous amount of anger, hatred, and a lack of conscience. He simply did not care about hurting others and just wanted to hurt others.
Were there any evidence to indicate any relations with their behavior to playing video games?
Yes. Basically, Eric wrote in his journal about how he wanted to put everybody in a super doom game and see whoever that can live will survive and those that can't will die.
Lastly, were there any implications after this massive attack?
Yes, there were many. So since the tragic event, there were actually more than $3 billion have been allocated to improve school safety programs. Schools nationwide have adopted the Zero Tolerance program concerning weapons and violent behaviors, as well as improved crisis response plans.
Count out 3 more studies.
Now that we have thought about the cases that violent video games were believed to have caused, let's look at some theories linking to violent video games and aggression. One of the most famous theories learned by psychologists everywhere is the social learning theory. This is seen in the Bobo dog experiment done by Albert Bandura in the 1960s. Children were able to learn violence from just observation, and they pick it up faster if violence was shown to be rewarded. If we link this result to violent video games, it would be safe to assume that the children would likewise pick up violence from just playing it, especially if the game rewards the players for carrying out violent acts.
So, in addition, the SU Distinguished Professor of Psychology Craig Anderson and Esteemed Professor of Psychology Douglas Gentile and doctoral student Catherine Buckley, they share the results of 3 new studies on violent behavior and aggression. So the first study found that even exposure to cartoon characters which show violence has the same effects as the graphic teen media violence actually. So the study tested 161 9 to 12-year-olds and 354 college students. So each participant were randomly assigned to play either a violent or a non-violent video game. So violent games were defined as those which intentional harm is done to a character but they are motivated to avoid that harm. So the researchers found that participants who played violent video games, even if they were the cartoonish characters which showed violence, punished their opponents with significantly more high noise blast, boom, just like that, than those who played non-violent video games. So what does this show? Well, they concluded that habitual exposure to violent video games were associated with more higher levels of violent behavior.
Hi, so there was a shocking discovery how cartoonish violent video games have a similar effect on children as gruesome graphic violent video games on college students. The authors found that participants who had more exposure to violent video games had a more pro-violent attitude, hostile personality, and then were less forgiving. So believe violence to be more typical and behave aggressively on an everyday life.
Dr. Vincent Matthews and his colleague at Indiana University, who have long studied media violence, look at what happened in the brain of 28 students who were randomly assigned to play either a violent first-person shooter game or a violent one every day for a week. None of the participants had much gaming experience. At the start of the study, researchers used functional MRI to scan the brain activity in the participants. All young men, while they completed lab-based tasks involving either emotional or non-emotional content. The participants were then scanned again while they repeated the same task after 1 week of playing the video games. Researchers found that those who played the violent video games showed less activities in areas that involve emotions, attentions, and inhibitions of our impulses. Behavioral studies have shown an increase in aggressive behavior after violent video games, and what we show in a physiological explanation for what the behavioral studies are showing. These are changes in the brain function that are likely related to that behavior. Even when participants were brought back after 1 week of playing violent video games, there was changes detected in the brain. Yay! I'm here to interview you. Do you think violent video games promote aggression?
You mean the kind where they shoot up the school and...
Yeah, the bang bang bang.
I think yeah.
It does? Why?
Because if you shoot every day, then one day you want to shoot
Yay! I found someone to interview.
Oh my
Do
god!
you think violent video games promote aggression?
I think so, yes, yeah. Okay, you see, recently there are so many school shootings. And in the case of example, you know Josh Rice?
Yes.
He shot his school teacher and injured 2 of his classmates. Then after police investigation, they found that he actually played games like Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, and Call of Duty. So many violent games, and he's just a small kid. How can
Thank you.
Now, we'll talk about the credibility of the sources that we have used. To judge whether the sources are credible or not, we use the critic system. So what is this system? Well, critics stands for claim, role of claimant, information, test, independent testing, and cost proposed. These 6 criteria allow us to identify if a source is biased or unreliable. To start it off, we will discuss the credibility of the journal articles that have been used. Most of them shows no sign of biasness and carry out their experiment properly. However, one of them titled Video Games in Education was unreliable as it was focused on proving that violent video games do not lead to aggression and kept denying any studies that states otherwise. We also evaluated the reliability of the news sources that we have used. An example would be the Columbine High School shooting, which we verified through multiple news reports.